Girivaradari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandanam Brajajana Ranjanam Yashodanandanam Brajajana Ranjanam Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Shri Gauranitai Ki Jai. The most beautiful Gauranitai Ki Gaura Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
By wonderful inconsiderate arrangement of Nitai Gauranga, the station of His Grace Kalakantha prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Kalakantha prabhu is the GBC Minister of Cow Protection and Agriculture. Since 2015, he has been doing his seva. He is born and brought up in Brazil. His parents, he is from family of farmers and agriculture professors. He is son of a Cambridge PhD professor and a researcher. He has worked and visited almost all ISKCON farms in last 27 years, in all the countries around the world. He travels and especially he is trying to build up educational programs so that devotees can better understand the science of and art of caring for the cows and also developing farms. So he especially runs the ISKCON Continental Farm Conference cycles with the help of vibrant continental networks. These networks are already established in Europe, North and South America, Russia, Ukraine, India, and are expanding. So it's highly active in developing this program within ISKCON community around the world. He is based in Mayapur, and we are very honored that today he is there with us. So let us welcome His Grace Kalakantha prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Temple ISKCON New Town by loudly chanting three times. So, English, Bengali, Hindi. Okay. Anybody can translate Hindi? Amit, yeah, you know Hindi translate?
I can go in corner.
How well?
I remember him. Hare Krishna. Nice to see you again.
So you can, Prabhu, Arvind Gopal Prabhu translating Hindi. Okay, there.
Okay.
So, Prabhu will be speaking in English, and those who need Hindi translation, they can sit there. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Oh wow, Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I can just see that you are in very good hands. When we come to a temple, you can immediately feel the vibration. You can get a sense of what's coming. And just by entering this room, I hadn't slept the whole night. I felt so attracted, the japa and the mist. I wanted to stay here, but I realized I need a little bit of rest. I'm just coming straight from Ekachakra Dham. And from Ekachakra I took a bus, and then we took a taxi and we came to the airport, and the flight was delayed. So we were lost what to do. And I consulted with the ministry representatives in India, Rasananda, and he says, you should go to New Town, Kolkata. It's the best place for you to go. And said, okay, we'll do that. And here we are. And I'm so pleased to be here. Such a nice arrangement. I can see how beautiful this initiative is. And I just remember today, in 1966, 65, Srila Prabhupada left to America. And hardly anybody was in the port to say goodbye to him. Because his son was there, Vrindavan Chandra. And today, as we go out in these most exalted apartments of the society of Kolkata, the port is saying, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So I could see what a transformation the preaching has done to this place. And what levels has the Indian leadership taken the Hare Krishna movement in India. That we receive the Prime Minister in our temple inaugurations. It's not uncommon to hear politicians visiting. So this is a great achievement. And that achievement was acquired with a lot of sacrifice. So we understand the sacrifice behind this, and we appreciate that, indeed, because that is exactly what Srila Prabhupada did. And we're going to read the scripture, the Srimad Bhagavatam, which he thought was the solution for the world situation today. And it's so much so that when he was thinking about how he would deliver this message to the world, he thought Srimad Bhagavatam is the answer. So he started translating, and here in India, still in India, Kolkata is his hometown. He tried so many things. He tried to become rich. Krishna didn't allow him. He tried to convince rich business people. Krishna didn't allow him. He tried to convince the Gaudiya Math. Krishna didn't allow him. But Prabhupada never went to the internet. The Gaudiya Math is not good. Prabhupada was always thinking, I go to the West because it's the order of my spiritual master. It's not because it was more convenient, it's because it was the order of the spiritual master. It so happened that it was more convenient. And I just wanted to make this short introduction so we can understand what are we in front of. The Srimad Bhagavatam class is the contemplation, the spiritual ecstasies of our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. This is the scripture which he understood can deliver all of us by regularly listening and paying attention, and then manana, meditating, contemplating on what we heard. Then doubts come to our mind. We make these questions to expert teachers, like you have one here, a very expert Shastric teacher, and he will clarify your doubts, and then you apply it, and new doubts will come, and like this you progress. And you're progressing towards a very noble goal. And today's verse, we talk a little bit about this. So let's start by offering our obeisances to the Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, verse 12. Is that correct? Okay. And the verse reads like this. Shuto nupatito yatha adrito vanumoditaha Sajya punati sadharmo deva vishwa druhopihi. Is that 11.2? Yes, it's 11.2. We could show it if you want. Yes, yes. 11.2.12. Yes, 11.2.12. Shutonupatito. No. Shutonupatito jata. I don't have internet. Okay, so let's, since I'm not the perfect Sanskrit scholar, Prabhu, would you read the verse in Sanskrit?
Hare Krishna. Shutono patito dhyata
Tonupatito jata
adrito vanumodita
Adrito vanumodita
punati saddharma
Saja punati sadharmo
deva vishwa druhopi
Eva vishwadruhopihi
Shutono patito dhyata
Shutonupatito jata
adrito vanumodita
Adrito vanumodita
punati saddharma
Saja punati sadharmo
deva vishwa druhopi
Eva vishwadruhopihi Shutonupatito jata Adrito vanumodita Saja punati sadharmo Deva vishwadruhopihi Shutonupatito jata Adrito vanumodita Saja punati sadharmo Eva vishwadruhopihi. Mataji? Shutonupatito jata Adrito vanumodita Saja punati sadharmo Eva vishwadruhopihi. Translation? Word by word. Shruttaha, heard. Anupatitaha, subsequently chanted. Dhyataha, meditated on. Adritaha, faithfully accepted. Va, or Anumoditaha, praised when performed by others. Sajjaha, immediately. Punati, purifies. Saddharmaha, pure devotional service. Deva, to the demigods. Vishwa, and to the universe. Druha, those who are hateful. Apihi, even. Translation by C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Pure devotional service rendered to the Supreme Lord is spiritually so potent that simply by hearing about such transcendental service, by chanting its glories in response, by meditating on it, by respectfully and faithfully accepting it, and by praising the devotional service of others, even persons who hate the demigods and other living beings can be immediately purified. A beautiful verse. Shall we repeat it? Pure devotional service, rendered to the Supreme Lord, is spiritually so potent that simply by hearing about such transcendental service, by chanting its glories, in response, by meditating on it, by respectfully and faithfully accepting it, or by praising the devotional service of others, even persons who hate the demigods and other living beings can be purified, can be immediately be purified, sorry. Yes, immediately, yeah. Strong statement. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has commented that the word Saddharma refers to Bhagavat Dharma. This is also confirmed by Sridhar Swami. Bhagavat Dharma is spiritually so powerful that even those who, by worldly standards, are implicated in various ways in sinful behavior, can easily be purified by adopting any of the processes mentioned in this verse. In the practice of ordinary piety, one worships gods with the expectation of receiving something in return for one's service. It's a business. Similarly, the impersonalist aspires for his own liberation, wishfully thinking that he will become equal to God. In Bhagavad Dharma, however, there is no such impurity. Bhagavad Dharma is devotional service to the Lord, in which the only objective is the satisfaction of the Lord. If one rejects this process and instead wants to hear about, teach or meditate upon another process, the chance for immediate purification is lost. Neither ordinary materialistic yoga processes meant for achieving mystic powers, nor impersonal processes based on speculation, has the power to purify immediately those who have fallen into sinful behavior. Saddharma or Bhagavad Dharma, pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord of Godhead, is unique, and that even the most fallen souls can immediately rise to the highest perfectional stage by surrendering at the lotus feet of Krishna or his pure devotees. This was vividly demonstrated by the preaching work of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially in the case of the sinful brothers Jagai and Madai. Srila Prabhupada ki, Lord Premanandi. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshur Militanyana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Last time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Nitai ki jai, Ekachakradam ki jai. I think I was sent here to deliver the mercy of Ekachakra to all of you. Actually, I brought some little Mahaprasadam from the birthplace of Lord Nityananda to all of you. Hare Krishna. So, it's very indeed a pleasure to be here in Prabhupada's birth town, speaking to all of you, very enlightened gentlemen, who many of you have dropped your successful careers in IT. Indian is the IT hub. I think ISKCON is going to be IT Loka. It's so many ITs. Everybody, what did you do? IT. I'm proposing we now make camps in agricultural camps, ecological camps, biology camps. We need now the new phase of ISKCON. So many engineers, too many. Now we need people who can take care of the cows, the farming, the lifestyle. And I have a little something to say about this at the end. So your camps, not anymore IT, right? Too many ITs. And you see the difference between an IT and a biologist is IT thinks squares. So he'll put a river square. A biologist let the river be curvy and round. So you need both. You need an engineer and an agriculturalist to have full perspective in life. So it's an honor, as I was saying, to be here because our founder Acharya spent much of his life thinking about pure devotional service here. He was contemplating first, when he met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that he didn't want any sadhus. He was tired of the sadhus. Because all the sadhus want takar, chapati. So he did not want any more sadhus. But he was convinced to see this sadhu. And you have now established the birthplace, not the birthplace, the meeting place of this incredible encounter, where the order of the Guru met the perfect student. And immediately he surrendered. So much of Srila Prabhupada's life here was about how can I deliver the order of my spiritual master. So you have a great responsibility as the devotees who are preaching in Kolkata of that legacy, that heritage of your founder Acharya, of what he did for the whole world. Srila Prabhupada, in his comments, in his purports, he gives us a roadmap how to get out of this world. And you hear constantly him speaking about, you're not this body. And you say, Prabhupada, I heard this a few times already. I know this. But you see that we don't know this when you're faced with a serious disease, a terminal disease. When death is in front of you, you see, I haven't realized that yet. So Prabhupada is bringing us to the 10th and 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the full realization of transcendental knowledge. And right here in this part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni is instructing the father of Krishna, because he wants to know what's the perfection of transcendental knowledge. And he brings a dialogue which happened way before with the Nava Yogendras. So the verse is talking about pure devotional service. I want you to raise your hand if you are a pure devotee. Matajis? Prabhujis? Aha, he's just arrived. Prabhuji, can you raise your hand? Please, raise your hand. Gaura Premanande! Yes. Yes, and that is the purity. You all are pure. But still, if you have a gold ring and it falls in the mud, does the gold change it? Does it change? Or it remains gold? Remains gold. So every little service you do is gold. When it's pure, that intention to give Krishna, that's gold. And that's pure. But there are some impurities around it, some desires, some doubts, some ideas that Krishna may be not God. Maybe I am God. So those have to be cleansed. Okay? And this verse is talking about this. This verse is talking about that Swadharma, or pure devotional service, is Shri Gaurnitai Ki, the most beautiful Gaurnitai Ki, Gaura Premanandi. Very beautiful. You're very fortunate. They're so beautiful. So pure devotional service is that state where there's no other intention except to please Krishna. There's no other motive in our behavior except to
Please Krishna.
to please Krishna. So every one of us has our moments of trying to please Krishna with purity. And that's gold. And that you keep. And that's gold forever. But in the cleansing process, we only call pure devotional service when the ring is almost clean. Then that's bhava, and then it leads to prema. But all of us have elements of gold. And we should value those moments of gold. And this verse especially points out, when you glorify the service of other devotees, that intensifies your purity, because it cleanses the impurity of envy. And envy is the impurity which stops bhakti. All the other processes, they distract bhakti, but envy stops bhakti. At one point, it said that we were envious of Krishna, and then bhakti was stopped for a moment. So the process now is to eliminate that envy and put in place love, devotion for Krishna. And by doing so, you get the highest benefit of the whole universe. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, they were giving the most expensive element, ingredient of the spiritual world for free, especially Lord Nityananda. And when Lord Nityananda is in Ekachakra with his parents, everybody loved him with purity. Hadai Pandit loved him so much, he was his own life. And one day, one Brahman comes and says, "Dear Prabhuji, I'm here. I'm visiting your house." He says, "You're most welcome. You can ask for anything." And the Brahman says, "Actually, I'm thinking about this. I'd like to take Nitai." Now, our ISKCON center in Ekachakra is just next to the place where Lord Nityananda last stood in Ekachakra. So all the residents who love him with purity, with pure hearts, saw him leave. Imagine the pain. Just imagine if you see the most beloved person in your life leave. So Hadai Pandit had that love for Lord Nityananda. In fact, he was in a dilemma. He says, if I say no to the Brahman, I ruin Dharma. Because the precedents, the Brahman asked for something I promised and I did not give. If I say yes, I will die. And I will not be able to do my service anymore. So he was in a dilemma. But his dilemma is found in one of the principles of pure love. Love is like a river which has two banks. On one bank is association. On the other bank is separation. And when you have separation, it increases your hankering. Is it not? Like Mataji, if you have your son and he goes to college to study IT, some separation is in the heart, isn't it? You feel that separation. But when your son comes back, all that love becomes triple, quadruple, immense, isn't it? So that is the principle of love. There is meeting and there is separation. Even with Radha Krishna is the same in the spiritual world. So Lord Nityananda, he wanted to make a deeper meeting because he was feeling a deep separation. Do you know who he was missing? What? I didn't hear. I couldn't hear you. Nityananda. Yes, he was missing Lord Gauranga deeply because Lord Gauranga was much younger than him. He was a little boy. So he devised the plan. Let me go on pilgrimage. By the time Gauranga grows up a little bit, I'll come and meet him. Now, this is a purely transcendental, loving relationship like this verse is talking about. Because they had no other motive except to please each other. In the material world, when a man and a woman comes together, they think, what can I get from this person? The man just marries and he's, I got a personal slave. Now I get my massage, my food is ready, I don't have to wash my clothes anymore. It's so easy. And the Mataji is thinking, oh, now I got my Thakur, he'll give everything I need. So the two are thinking, we think like this. And as time goes by, we realize so many problems, isn't it? And this is the material world. But the more we bring Krishna to the center, the more we bring bhakti to the center, our children, our family members become more loving, sweeter. The relationships become more inspiring because there is one common goal, to please Krishna. So that's the sense of this verse. So Nityananda, he waited until one day, he said, the time is right. And he went to Navadvip, Mayapur Dham. Now, the reason he left home is because he wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So externally, it seems very cruel that the son is making a plan to leave his parents, who will die of separation. But actually, he was increasing their love for him. And that's how Krishna will do with us. Book distributors, you do a big book result and you get attached to that book, hug of Gauranga, and you want one more. And then Gauranga says, just wait a little bit. And then you start crying. And you cry, and you cry, and you cry, and then Chaitanya says, yes, okay, take one more hug. So like this, whoever distributes, any book distributors here? No one?
Everybody distributes something.
Yes, something. No? Yes. Did you experience this that I have described? You're on the road trying, and no, you're almost crying. No, one more, no, I'll cry. And then finally Krishna gives something. So this loving relationship is eternal. And our mission is to become fully aware that Krishna wants to do that for us. Let me see here, my time. Oh yeah, time flies. I wanted to show something, maybe, I don't know if I will be able to. Is it? Can I show something?
Yes.
This. Does it come? Yes. Yes.
Exactly same.
Yeah, okay, you can see it. So, Srila Prabhupada, he offered all of us a sandwich, a transcendental sandwich. Do you know what the sandwich is, Prabhu? Have you heard? There are many sandwiches in ISKCON, but there's one transcendental one. There's the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, and service in the middle, right? But one referring to books. Books and farms. Have you heard this? Prabhupada says, the basis are my books. Okay? So that's the lower part of the sandwich, the lower bread. And then he said, farm, 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 and farm 4 times. It's the only thing he said 4 times. Usually he says 3 times, but farm he says 4 times. So that's the top bread. And what's in the middle? Bhakti. Because the Srimad Bhagavatam will illuminate your bhakti, will show the path, will show the philosophical principles. And the farms will nourish your bhakti with pure food. So you're strong, healthy, intelligent, sharp to defeat the materialistic people. So this transcendental sandwich Prabhupada wanted was a book distribution to revolutionize the society completely. And on the other hand, show the lifestyle, ideal lifestyle of a simple living and high thinking. So we changed that. High thinking about simple living. We have to really think now how we're going to change this paradigm. Like in Ekachakra, last time I went, all the houses were clay houses, beautiful. Today, all cement houses. The birthplace is a big cement wall around it. Before, it's just the fields and Chaitanya and Nitai. It's so beautiful. It's still beautiful, but we feel the cement revolution invading the whole world. So, the lifestyle will be a demonstration of how we live, how we share our wealth, our time, how we nurture our children. Right now, the cities will become more and more congested, polluted, disputed, competitive. That's the trend of the towns. And finally, there will be crisis of energy around this. So Prabhupada was aware, and he'll say, we need to prepare for the future. So we've been working in education, and I'd like to show you something. So 5 years ago, we decided to start the education process of the ministry. And we launched one course. It's called Taking Care of Krishna's Cows. And it took us 5 years. We took the best teachers from America, from England, from India, from Malaysia, from Ukraine, many different locations, and we got a course which is going to be another time on the 30th of April, Akshaya Tritiya, the 3rd version of this course. I highly recommend. We already have one. The first candidate came from ISKCON, Kolkata, Newtown. So a big round of applause for him. He is the very first candidate for the course. And we invite you to be also a member, to learn what did Prabhupada mean by cow protection. It's not only for cowherd men, it's for the whole congregation and managerial team. You should take that course. And now I'm writing the agricultural course. This year I'm writing the agricultural course. But to write, you have to practice. You can't just from your head. So I decided to start a farm from scratch, from zero, to see what it takes. I'm going to show you what I did. You want to see? Okay, so this is called Nandagram. It's in Brazil. Can you see the picture? Is it visible? Oh yes, there. You can put that. Put it here. This, yeah. Yes. Little better.
Can you this project pin hand so it will be bigger?
Yes, we can put a little bigger. Yes. Right. Good. Can you see, like Vrindavan, very dry, bubble trees. There's so many thorny trees. This is Brazil. Semi-arid, very dry. And I said, okay, this is my challenge. Now, listen carefully. In a tree,
How many acres?
55. But the whole property is 140. My father has 85, and this part was lost. So I said, I'm going to recover this part. So I took a challenge. Look how dry. Here's a secret I learned from the teachers. When a tree gets the nutrition from the earth, what is the bank account of the tree? In the trunk, in the branches. So we usually use some mulching from the leaves. It's good. But the real money, the real hard cash, is on the trunk. So we cut the trees in pieces and we put the trunks and barks along. That's the first technique, to stop water from running freely, improve the infiltration, improve fertilization. It's a technique, it's a very interesting technique. This is me and my wife planting the first tree. Very dry, you can see? It's very dry. It's very dry. And we're teaching to some children. There's a public school in the property. We gave the land to them to do the school. And this will happen 3 years after. This is a 3 years after picture. Here's a mango tree, and there's a champa, there's a palm tree. That dry land, you can see what happens. And if you see again, you see the comparison. Yeah? And so I'm learning from different teachers around the globe how we can do this in Kolkata, in Mayapur, in Vrindavan. So we start this, the revolution, right? We need to be on the top of that. And just a last picture for you on this. This is a plain picture. You see how bare? The vegetation is quite bare. And just 3 years later, what it became. There it goes. So this regenerative farming, agroforestry practices are very powerful. And Bengal knows this. Every house, every village has a mango tree, neem tree, papaya tree. Have you noticed in the village? That's like a pervert reflection of an agroforestry. They understand, but they don't know scientifically. But from the heart, they say, this tree next to that tree. There is medicinal trees, there's wood trees. So we're trying to bring systematically. So Bengal is a very good place to implement this. It will be a great, and the government is interested. There is funds. There is CSR funds. There are many things for this. So we get there. Yeah. And it's an overview of the property. You see the orange is the 85 acres and the green is the 55 acres. And there's a big river at the end. And you see the top and you see the bottom. It's a big transformation. The same place, the same picture. Yes? There you go. So, I had to take the test myself because I couldn't speak without doing. I personally drilling the fences, cutting the woods with the people, digging, making the whole vision and the whole blueprint by principle. Because every place has different trees, different climates, different species of cows. Here you have the beautiful zebu cows, the Bos Indicus cows, there's the most glorious cows. Different places have different cows. So we need to understand the environment to do this. So that's what we're doing. And that's what's my mission. So I'm really happy. There's a whole seminar, Prabhu, about, it's called Feed the Earth. And we can do online. Maybe later we can call the congregation and online we can take a session and show how this works. How does the Vedas talk about this with the natural law? Srila Prabhupada mentions. And when we're talking about pure devotional service and you're talking about reforestation, is there any connection? Question. I'm making a question to this awesome audience. Pure devotional service and regeneration of the earth. Is there any connection? Yes, Prabhu. You need a mic?
Mother Earth is the energy of the Supreme Lord.
Ah.
This is who Devi. So, serving Mother Earth. So we are serving Srimati
needs expansion. So there is a connection.
Especially if your consciousness can see that. Because many people serving Mother Earth, but they're thinking of money, health, I can help humanity. They're not thinking that I'm serving the energy of the Lord. So we can teach them and they can connect to that pure devotion service. Another person.
When we study Srimad Bhagavatam, we have a description from a nature. For example, when Prabhupada wrote the book Light of Bhagavata, rainy and autumn season in Vrindavan. So entire study of that chapter depends upon how much you have experienced the goodness of nature. Otherwise it is simply a theory. Similarly, unless you understand the cows and the calf, how do you understand what is called Vatsalya Prema? So all the concepts of Bhagavatam becomes more realizable and more understandable only when we are exposed to the reality of what is there in nature.
Thank you for the reflection, beautiful reflection. And just to give you an example of what you just said, in Gurgaon, Delhi, the hub of the IT world, all the corporates come for these camps, the Bhagavad Gita camps. And the last session is the camp in the forest. So they go to a little military place, it's a camp, they have a little forest, and they love it. The children love it. Why? Because some chakras get immediately put in place. You can breathe, the rhythm, and that's very good for hearing the Bhagavad and Bhagavad Gita. So just by the scenario, you can understand how it improves. And if you look any picture of the Srimad Bhagavatam, of Vidura, he's sitting by a beautiful place, a beautiful stream, a beautiful forest. He's not sitting in the middle of Paharganj. He's sitting in a beautiful forest. So this is an indication in our tradition that we do care for Mother Earth. And the more we expose people, they'll realize how well they feel and how Krishna is the origin of that feeling. So there's a great connection. Thank you so much for that reflection. Anybody else? Maybe from the Matajis? Or anybody else? Questions, also corrections? Yes, two. Mm-hmm.
I have a question. What I have observed, just it will be my little experience, but then I'm asking. Now that people are not, they just want to move to cities, they don't want to live in villages, and they don't want to do the farming. So that includes me also.
I was going to get to that.
So now everybody is fascinated to go to city, you go to villages, you don't get labor you don't get laborers for farming. And nobody is interested in only those people who lack opportunities, only they are just doing the farming. Everyone else who had the opportunity to go to cities and have some job, they are moving to the city. So now how we can we can just encourage and inspire ourselves and other people, because this seems to be a very difficult challenge.
Thank you very much for your beautiful question. Are you a farmer's background?
Yes. Now I made a transition from village to city, so I have seen both that.
I could feel the kind of reference you're making is from a farmer's background. Yes. I made a presentation for the whole leadership of ISKCON. GBCs, bureau members, temple presidents. Were you there in the ILS? He was there too. So every table had a GBC member, and I made 3 questions. How can we give pure food for the temples? Pure food. Question number 2. How can we make a connection between the cities and the farms? And question number 3, how can you raise awareness? Your question. The farmers have been bombarded with wrong information. Cement is better than clay. That's a lie. Clay is much better material. Clay is flexible. Clay is renewable. Clay hardens with time. Scientifically, clay is much superior than cement. But everybody's been convinced that clay is old, dusty, full of bugs, useless. We want something clean, statical, durable. And then there's this man, strong man with iron rods, Mr. Iron. That's a lie. The iron will become weak over time. It gets oxidized. But lime, on the contrary, gets strengthened because lime comes from shells. And over time, it becomes harder and harder and harder and harder. So the cement curve is 80 years and cracks. Maybe you already have some cracks here. And the lime curve is thousands of years. So the ancient temples were made from lime. Rome was made from lime. The Greeks work with lime. But we are convinced cement is superior to all of that. Big lie. Another big lie. I'm going to feed you with this huge, beautiful cauliflower. You go to the market, right? You see that, if you see what's inside, you change your mind. So many poisons because the cauliflower is a favorite of the bugs. They love it. So to stop, we know the farmers don't have to spray a lot. So to give you a very good cauliflower. What to speak of tomatoes? A tomato will last for about 70 days from seedling to fruit. Some people spray 65 times. And we love so much tomato chutney, right? And pizza. So all of that is coming. So that's another lie, wrong information. We'll feed you. You're not feeding us. Another big lie. Go to the city, get a job, and be happy. What a struggle. You need a PhD, and then you have to go to Google, Microsoft. You have so many things, so many you have to scratch your head about. While in the city, in the village, it's so peaceful. You have food, you have house, you have bhakti, you have everything you need. But for preaching, you have to be here. Prabhupada said, the preachers have to be here. Because that's where everybody is, because they have been bombarded by this information. So what's our mission? Is not to speak, but to show that. When you show, the farmer will come. Because if he understands, I can get good money, I can get good life, I can get good house, and work like this, it's much better than go to the city, put my son to study in IT college, pay, like I can't pay, but I will pay, and then my IT son goes to London or the US, and I'm alone. So he realizes, what have I done? Now he's in the, let me go to the US. And the father goes to the US. And the US says, oh my God, there's no like family meetings and the community is not here. So he comes back with a lot of money, and that's the propaganda. So Prabhupada was very smart. He brought the white-skinned people to say, Are, all Indians want to go to America, I'm bringing the Americans only to here. So many people saw the example of the early devotees, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, and so many of these great preachers. So how are we going to do it? We have to think together. For every place we need to think together. And it's showing. You can speak, but when you show, like I'm showing you what I did in 3 years, it gives enthusiasm. So that's what we have to do. Therefore, I came here today with the Monday to start the farm of New Town, Kolkata. You see, land is only going up and up and up and up into the sky. Mayapur, I can't even talk about Mayapur. But if you, now that you have position, visibility, congregation, you think, let's think about 20 years ahead. Let's find if any congregation members has land in villages that are lying dead and they're not going to farm anymore because nobody wants to farm. And you make an intelligent project. We put some trees now, after 10 years we have money, we have wood in that forestry, and that can be a capital for us starting our farm. So you think fast forward. When everybody's leaving the farms, we go to the farms, and you start something intelligent. And over the time, when you get ready, the farm is ready. So if you think, no, maybe not important, when you think about it, land is too expensive, this is already a big city, not an outskirts anymore, it's a full town. So you need to think now and create this plan now. This is the time. The time is ready for you to open your farm. And see how nice, you can make a retreat. People coming to Kolkata, yogi retreats, go to your farm. And you make it very nicely with mud houses, ecological, agroforestry. Loads of people, everybody who comes to Mayapur goes through Kolkata. Then you have a retreat right here. Have you heard of Vedic city? Here there's one like that, like that. We should have one here, right here. All the Westerners want to come to see this natural, ecological, traditional. You have the best terracotta technology in India. In Vishnupur, in all these places, the ancient terracotta. Bring it in. Terracotta? The terracotta is the best in India. It's the best, comes from West Bengal. So bring it in. And when a Westerner comes and sees that, he's mesmerized. And then you talk about Krishna. So first you enchant him with nature, with tradition, with history, and then you talk about Krishna. And just to finalize, I'm a little over time, 5 minutes over time. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he made, when there was no electricity in Navadvip, he made 1 square mile illumination park. And he invited the top artists of the time, like today inviting Bollywood actors and everybody. And everybody came. And at the end, what did he show? Gaur Nitai and Radha Krishna. The last entertainment, after they saw the best and the best, they came to Krishna. Now today, the big attraction is ecology, is nature. So if you show that, people will come to see, and at the end, you show Gaur Nitai. I think it's a great thing to think about. So thank you. It's an honor to be here once again. And I'm looking forward to go to the Goshala and see your Goshala project. And I'll invite the leader. You have so many resources around you, so many industrialists in Kolkata. They'll support you. Something like the Vedic village will be a mega success. Because everybody coming to Mayapur stops in Kolkata. Stay 1 day, 2 days, retreats, seminars, yoga, Ayurveda, unlimited. All the yoga groups coming to Kolkata stop here, have a day to perfection. It's a great plan. And you have the architecture, you have the terracotta, you have Tagore, you have many things you can explore to attract them, and then you show Krishna. Okay? Is that good? Gaura Premanande! If you think your TP should think about a farm, raise your hand and say, Haribol. Haribol! Again? Haribol! The last time. Haribol! Gaura Premanandi. Haribol. A few questions. Extension of time. Okay, I'm here. I have time. Hare Krishna.
Maybe one, like, you can put your reflection. So we are talking about setting an example. So somehow we are able to set an example through Govardhan Eco Village now. But the next hub, which is going to be the biggest, is Mayapur. But there we see we are building a temple of cement that you talked about, the other material. So I was thinking about there, yeah.
It's a very deep philosophical question. The cement philosophical discussion. They took special care, so the iron is not iron, it's stainless steel. So they have guaranteed that this temple will last for a long time, despite the cement. Mayapur, Prabhupada wanted to show the lifestyle. And that has not come yet, but it's coming. I can tell you, I can feel the vibration. The co-directors, His Holiness Japataka Swami, he wants that. They're looking for that. But the mindset is still too fixed in finishing the TOVP, because there's a prediction. When you finish the TOVP, what's going to happen? Bhakti will be spread for the whole world. And who predicted this? Nityananda too? Jiva Goswami. So it's bound to happen. And because we mentioned Nityananda, I'm going to teach you a little something about Nityananda. I'm going to say, Nitai, Nitai. And then you say, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, Nitai. Nitai Gauranga. Nitai, Nitai. Nitai Gauranga. Nitai, Nitai. Nitai Gauranga. Nitai, Nitai. Nitai Gauranga. Jaya Nitya Nitya Nityananda Ram. Jaya Nitya Nitya Nityananda Ram. 2 lines. Jaya Nitya Nitya Nityananda Ram. Jaya Nitya Nitya Nityananda Ram. Again. Jaya Nitya Nitya Nityananda Ram. Jaya Nitya Nitya Nityananda Ram. Nitai, Nitai. Nitai Gauranga. Nitai, Nitai. Nitai Gauranga. Nitai, Nitai. Nitai Gauranga. Nitai, Nitai. Nitai Gauranga. Louder. Nitai, Nitai. Nitai Gauranga. You ready? You ready for this? So Nitai and Chaitanya, they were chanting in every town and village. So as you well mentioned, Govardhaniko village got some good projection. And Govardhaniko village is a project which is founded on many millions of dollars. We need a simpler model, which can be done much more simple and can be replicated very fast. Because they needed to do that because it was the need of the hour. So they did a huge project, beautiful project. What an offering to the world. But to do that is not easy. As you see, there's so many aspects, so many funding is necessary. So your question is a good question. If you can think of ideas, research teams, that's very encouraged. And now the ministry is coming with the concept of living labs. Living labs. What's that? What did I say?
Living labs.
What's a living lab?
Small farm.
It's a small farm. It can be a big farm. It's a place where you experiment. It's a place where you research. It's a place where you teach. So a living lab can teach about cows. A living lab can teach about agroforestry. A living lab can bioconstruction. So you choose a topic or many topics and you teach it from. So that's what a living lab is for. So we started the first living lab in Brazil. Already in the meeting we got signed up a few places. Kenya, Nairobi, and Gurgaon, and Zurich, few places. So they like the idea because you can start from small and you can develop the concept. And then when you have your concept ready, ready for the investors, ready for the blueprint, for the leaders, then the project happens like Govardhaniko village. Is that okay? One last question, or maybe more, I don't know. Last question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. First of all, I want to thank you for this wonderful class. And I have one question, mainly it is related to cow protection. And I have this doubt from quite long, so I want to ask you this. Basically, Prabhuji, I had observed that in our India, mainly the Hindu community, they worship cows. But at the same time, as we consume a lot of milk from outside, so we see that there is too much exploitation of the cows happens, first thing there. Second thing also, Prabhu, although we worship cows, but at the same time, I personally had observed nearby villages also that they keep cows, but when the cow gives birth to bulls, so they don't keep it themselves. They usually just behead them, or they usually sell it to some coaches. So usually this practice happens mostly in the society. They keep the cows and they sell the bulls. And also huge amount of exploitation of cows happen in the terms of milk. And in this regard, many hardliners also are coming to society in the name of veganism. They are saying that we will not consume the cow milk only. But I think that this will not be the right and the complete solution. But as you mentioned here that the farm community will be there, then we are able to provide the engagement of the bulls, because currently in the farm we know that there are too much mechanization has happened and people are using machines a lot. So there is no engagement for the bulls. So what reflection you want to give in this regard?
Thank you for bringing the $1 million question, how to engage the bulls. And I'll make an invitation trying to respond. Your question is actually a seminar, because the entry of veganism in India, veganism is entering very, very high time in India. And the reason is, we preach mother cow, but when you observe the cow shelters, you see that it's very impersonal in many places. And last year we got a big wake-up call from a politician, Maneka Gandhi, and that made us rethink and reorganize things in our own institution. And we're improving on that level. Now, the root of your question comes from Dharma. Bhagavatam 1.17.3, it said that milk is the liquid form of Dharma. Dharma meaning religion, or Dharma meaning everything which is edified on maintaining the universe. Dharma can mean many things. So if Dharma is present in milk, you cannot eliminate Dharma without a big loss for our tradition. At the same time, if you consume milk as if there's no problem, then you're not acknowledging that there's so much violence in the market. So we are thinking how to raise awareness, and we invite you to give us ideas. One idea came from Jayadvaita Swami. If you do have to consume dairy from the market, you can set aside a small quantity and give to the temple for cow protection. So your congregation, some people do use dairy, they need to, milk, cheese, and then they separate part of that consumption value. Let's say someone consumes 1,000 rupees of dairy in a month. And they say, I'm going to give 50% of my consumption in donation, so they give 500 rupees for the temple. So you maintain your cow protection program. So that's a way of raising consciousness, because you're aware, every time I consume this dairy, there's some violence involved. You know, and children need milk, so we can't just stop giving milk to children, because they need to develop the finer tissues of the brain. They need to become intelligent gentlemen, IT gentlemen, right? So, and philosophers higher than ITs, right? Because we are talking about the absolute truth. So Prabhupada mentioned that we do need milk, but we need to show how to produce it without violence. That's our goal. That's our challenge. And that's what we need to do. We need to do a model that the farmer sees. There is money here, there is beauty here, it's better than the other system. This cow is more valuable alive than dead. Dead I get this much money, alive I get this much money, so I want to keep her alive. So we need to get those. And already a lot of, for the bulls, you know something amazing? Will you have a restaurant in this complex? Is it?
Not in small way.
In a small way, there's a restaurant. Now just imagine if your restaurant has a little circle where the bulls are going around and you're crushing sugarcane or oil, and everybody's seeing the bulls working. Immediately your cow protection is engaged in the bulls. Right? And then by doing that, the food in your restaurant, people just want to come. If you have organic farms and fresh oil, fresh grains, fresh sugarcane juice, people want to come for your restaurant. It's not being a small way, it will grow. So showing tradition is very valuable. And engaging the bulls is very essential. So I'm very grateful you brought this question up. I think you have a very mature thinking team with you. And you should exercise them. It's a team. There's a whole team here. And the teamwork is what you need to foster that. Is that all right, everyone? Gaura Premanandi! Nitai Gaura Premanandi! Hare Krishna. One last question. Okay?